About that.
There's people walking by.
Yeah.
You know, or like, you know, flung like a coffee cup, not at someone. I mean, people get mad and they do little things, and they might cause like a little more damage than they mean to, or something, you know, and that just happens, you know. There's really no excuse for it, and I own up to that, but that happens.
So as you're pacing around with the phone and waiting for the police to show up, they eventually show up, right?
Yes. And the moment that they do, you know, I approach them and I try and tell them, you know, what just happened to me. Contrary to what certain other people, you know, might have said, you know, I wasn't in an uncontrollable rage, you know. Otherwise, the police probably would have killed me that night. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't that out of it, you know. And I knew it was kind of a mistake calling 911, knowing that the police would show up. Not necessarily calling the police, but you know. But you know, like all of this just, you know, it came about me like over the course of a few seconds. Mm-hmm. You know, the bus, my bike was like at the front of the bus. The bus driver wasn't about to go anywhere. If I had grabbed my bike and taken off myself, then the police would have caught up with me down the street. Then I would have been charged, in addition to other things, with fleeing the scene. Right. I live right here in the area, you know, so the police would have been knocking on my door. Really, the only thing really that you did wrong was you broke the window. Yeah. In spite of all this crap that happened, and you hit it and you admit it, you didn't run from it, you stood there, and you're ready to meet them and talk about what happened. Yeah, I stood there and bore the consequences of what both I and they did, you know. Mm-hmm. And the fucking cowards that they are, they took off. And as far as I know, the police never bothered looking for him or anything, you know. And you know, the thing about this is, even if I hadn't smashed the second window, there was still the one window that was broken that I was pushed into, and the police would have assumed that I had broken that, and all of this would have happened the same way, because initially they thought that I had broken both windows. And after talking to some witnesses, you know, then they got that story straight, you know, of how things actually happened, you know, or a more clear idea of how they happened. As soon as I approach the police, you know, I try and tell them what happened, of course, but you know, but as soon as there's no chance for me to react or anything. Like the moment I walk up to them, you know, I'm under arrest. You know, they grab my hands, you know, put them behind my back.
Took your cell phone?
No, well, my cell phone falls, you know, because they grab my hands.
Wow,
you know. Okay. You know, luckily it's still intact. And I'm on the ground on my stomach. There's like they've moved you to the ground. Yes. And are you handcuffed at this point, or just? They've got my hands. You know, like one cop has one arm, one cop has the other, and there's at least one or two others. There's like at least 4 cops right on top of me. So.
And they're shoving you down to the ground at this point. Yes,
and then so I can't move. I can't. You know, I'm completely restrained. You know, and then they taser me. Okay, that's just heavy duty. Were you wrestling kind of with them, or saying like, you know, kind of get your hands off me? That kind of what's going on? Kind of shucking and trying to. Well, the moment one cop grabs my arm, I jerk it back, like grab my arm right quick. Like, what are you doing? That's the resist. Almost a normal reaction of like, why are you touching me? Why are you grabbing me? Well, yes. And see, the thing is, resisting arrest is a blanket charge that they hand out to a lot of people. My understanding is half the time they're dismissed in court. But I was initially charged with resisting arrest and criminal mischief. Is the criminal mischief the breaking of the windows, probably? Yes. Is that what that's what that was for. Okay. The resisting, I guess, is just what it says, resisting arrest. When they took you down and were in the process of tasering you, were you scuttling around pretty heavily? As I was spazzing out from being electrocuted. No, yeah, when that happened. Okay. I mean, prior to that, what I'm saying, to warrant them doing that, could they claim that you were
fighting with a vengeance, and you were
No.
struggling with them, and they were
No.
jeopardizing them, or nothing like that?
No,
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 okay.
no. The resisting thing stems from me jerking my arm back.
Like you just showed me.
Yeah,
and that's
but I'm not fighting because this typically when you think of, and maybe a lawyer who knows all this stuff might tell you something a little differently, get into all this technical speak, but generally, if the average person, when they think of resisting arrest, they think of someone physically fighting and biting and screaming with the cops, and they're having a hell of a time with you. But I was down, from the moment the cops showed up I was on the ground within like 2 seconds, 2 or 3
Really?
seconds.
and then a few seconds later, tasering you.
Yes.
And now I have no idea what that feels like, but it hurts you pretty. It hurts.
Yes.
Stupid question, I guess. Yeah.
So I'm thrown in the back of a car, and that's where I sit for like 20 minutes. The police don't talk to me at all, but they're busy talking to all these other people. They never even give me a chance to, because they didn't even announce that I was under arrest or anything like that. If they had listened to me for a couple of minutes, and then say, "Hey, Mr. Brooks, we have to place you under arrest for the window," I wasn't gonna take off or anything like that, because I tried to tell them all of that,
It was an
But-
accident, and you got. Yeah, we know that. Why you did that. You explained that. Yeah.
So
So you-
initially, I'm taken up to like the Eastern Precinct, like an hour later, I'm finally, giving like this female cop my statement, or trying to give her my statement over a screaming drug addict in the next room. And then they finally get like a bit more of the story. They understand that I definitely wasn't the one who started the fight. Never mind about them actually going after the two people or anything. And the thing about that is, I have no idea who they are. I don't know their names. I don't know. I've never seen them before. They were coming out of some shitty sports bar from across the street that I've never set foot in. So this couldn't have been more random.
So you stayed in the East County Jail there for a few hours, or?
I was there for around an hour or so. It's not a jail, but just a police station.
Okay.
And then after that, I was taken downtown to jail, where I was processed, fingerprinted 4 times for the FBI to look at. Because that's I don't know if a lot of people know that, but even if you're arrested for the most tiny of misdemeanor, then you're fingerprinted, and the FBI looks at that. So, well, they have access to it. So I'm taken downtown, and I'm asked all these kinds of humiliating questions like, have I been drinking tonight? No. Am I on any medication? No. All this dumb shit. And, no one asks me, or where do I work? Where was I heading that night? What do I do for a living? Things like that. And after all those humiliations and whatnot, I'm processed through. I'm given I'm notified then and there what I'm charged with. I'm given a court date, which is this is Saturday, June 7th, for early Sunday morning, and I have a court date for Monday, June 9th.